That alarm clock ringing, rattling around your dreamy head, and you keep hitting the snooze button, floating in your comfortable dream state, not wanting to wake out of your sleepy, comfortable, luxurious dream state where everything isn't real and where you don't have to have that cold water splashed in your face. Is that how you feel? Is when you wake up, you feel like it's cold water being splashed in your face? Are you waking up every morning begrudgingly? Do you find that you wake up with anger, or you wake up with a sense of discouragement? Are you waking up because you have to? If you had the option, would you continue to sleep? Would you continue to stay in bed, your head resting on the pillow with the covers rolled up to your neck, over your shoulders, hunched up? Is that your preference? Or are you waking up before the alarm rings? And when the alarm rings, if it does ring, you're out of bed like a bolt of lightning, filled with passion and enthusiasm and motivation and inspiration and drive, because you're excited for the day. You're excited to get up and to eat that small meal, have a bit of rice, have a bit of sour bread dough toast, have a bit of juice, fresh natural juice, have a bit of coffee, get yourself ready, head down to the gym, head over to the park, do some training, nourish your soul with the gospel, the good news, the Basara, feeding yourself the spiritual nutrition that bolsters your armor that you wear in the name of Yahuwah, carrying out the mission that Yahusha has given you. Is that how you're waking up? Or you keep hitting that snooze button? It's a terrible place to be. That snooze button is like a drug. It's like a drug that keeps you held back, keeps you chained, keeps you yoked to this illusion, this mirage. It's decadent, it's depraved, it defiles, it debases. It's like all the other accoutrements of this hallucination that we live in. And you gotta be guarded, you gotta be vigilant, you gotta be alert, you gotta be watchful, because we know not the time or the hour of Yahusha's coming. He tells us, he warns, as he talks about the trials and tribulations to come, he says, no one knows the time or the hour. No one other than Yahuwah. But do not let him return to find you sleeping. Be vigilant, lest when he returns, you're still in the dream. You're still bound to this illusion, this mirage. Because the alarm clock has been ringing your whole life. That noise has been rattling around your head throughout all the decades you've been alive. Your conscience has been calling you to come home throughout all of your waking and your sleeping hours. We've just turned a deaf ear to it. You've turned a blind eye to it. You don't want to know. You don't want to wake up out of this illusion. Someone fooled you into thinking that this mirage is all there is, and that what's in this mirage is worth holding on to. What? What? The drugs, the alcohol, the partying, the mindless entertainment? What? What about this mirage are you so bound to? The cheap thrills, the cheap highs, the cheap titillation that keeps you addicted? The despair, the sorrow, the hatred, the anger, the jealousy, the envy? What is it? What is it? Or is it the beauty of this world? Because here's the thing. If the rare few of you listening to this are bound to this land, to this plane, to this temporal existence because of the beauty of it, because of the blue skies, the beautiful, cool or warm winds, the lovely blades of grass, the rich soils, the wonderful sun that warms you, the oceans, the mountains, the relationships, the loving relationships you have, your children, your wife, your husband. Here's the good news. The good news is that the kingdom to come is endlessly more beautiful than this. And everything you treasure here will be exponential in the kingdom to come. Exponential. You don't have to give up love. The only thing you give up when you wake up out of this illusion, you've been fooled, you've been tricked, you've been deceived, you've been misled. Because the only thing you give up when you wake out of this illusion is fear. All fear is wiped away. And you're only left with love. You're left with the way, the truth, and the life. That's the mystery. That's what's behind the veil. That's the zeros and ones behind this false reality. His love, his healing energy, the endless joy, the peace and the solace and the everlasting life that waits for you on the other side of that alarm clock that's been ringing your whole life, but you've been hitting the snooze button. But when you come to Yahuwah, Yahusha, Hamashiach, the Messiah, and ask to be woken, when you ask to receive his love, his redemption, his deliverance, when you ask him to fill your heart with his healing energy, a tidal wave, a tsunami washes over you, and you're instantly filled with the Ruach, the set-apart spirit. The breath of Yahuwah animates you. It wakes you up. You're alive. You feel alive for the first time ever. True life, true everlasting life, with the new law, the living law written on your heart, the commandment you now follow, no longer begrudgingly, out of fear and out of punishment. No, now, out of love, out of joy, out of privilege, out of honor, out of duty, out of reverence. Your greatest obligation, your greatest joy, to love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, because you're finally awake. And you see the beauty of the kingdom to come, because you can see the path that leads there, the narrow path that you now are compelled to walk, because the breath, the Ruach, guides you strong and true as you walk steadfast and strong on this narrow path, where you're no longer a victim of the defilement, decadence, depravity, debasement, no longer a victim of Hashatan and the demons of this world, the psychic vampires and negative influencers. They can't pierce the armor that you wear when you have all faith in Yahuwah. The corruptors, the evildoers, the evil whisperers, the misleaders, the deceivers, they can't get near you any longer because the Ruach, you wield it like a sword which dissolves the darkness. Dissolves, obliterates the negative energy and all the wayward frequencies that they put out that try to confuse you, that try to masquerade as your salvation when they are the seeds of your destruction. You no longer fall for their lullaby, for their Pied Piper-like songs, such you dance like a marionette to their evil tune, as you destroy yourself only for their pleasure, because misery loves company. Now, in receiving the Besorah, receiving the good news, receiving the word of Yahuwah and his salvation, and in surrendering to him completely and asking for him to guide you and show you how to live your life in a manner that pleases him most, you are untouchable, impervious, impregnable to the slings and arrows and spears and daggers of the evil ways of this world, the ways of the flesh. You are now, although in this world, you're no longer of this world, because you have woken up. And every single day now, when you hear that alarm clock, you're up with purpose. You're up with meaning. You're up with passion. You're up with drive. I usually wake up before the alarm clock rings. I said it every day. There have been times where I've set that alarm clock for 3 o'clock. I'm up before that. There have been times lately where I've set it for 4:30. I'm up before that. Lately, alarm clock set for 4 o'clock. Most of the time I'm up before that. But today, alarm clock rang. Up like a lightning bolt, ready to take on the day, ready to tackle the day, ready to get it on. And walk tall and strong, wearing the armor of Yahuwah, Yahusha, feeling his love, his energy, his insight, his brilliance, his radiance, his golden light, which washes away all this darkness and keeps me motivated, inspired, nimble on my feet, fast, robust, dynamic, feeling good, here to spread the good news in the wee hours of the morning before the sun even comes up. That's how encouraged I am, how inspired I am, how alive that you can be as well. Stop pressing that snooze button. Listen to your conscience. It's calling out to you. That's Yahuwah, Yahusha. Your whole life calling out to you, telling you, as you know, every time you're about to take that wrong path, it's your conscience, it's your gut instinct ringing true. It's Yahuwah, Yahusha telling you, no, don't go down that road. Don't let those evil whisperers sing you a song. Don't let those misleaders and corruptors and evildoers lead you astray. No. Receive the light. Receive the word. Receive his redemption. So that you wake up with that meaning and purpose and drive that you've been seeking your whole life but haven't been able to find in all the self-help books, in all the worthless goals and silly targets and the grand ambitions you set for yourself, that even when you reach them and you get to the top of a mountain, you find you're just at the bottom of another. Because it never ends. The hamster wheel continues to turn. It never stops. The treadmill is endless. You're always clawing, scratching, cannibalizing, dominating, seeking to manipulate and maneuver and to absolutely bend this reality to your will such that it will deliver what? More coin, more clothes, more houses, what? More cars, more money, all the things, all the material manifestations of this false reality that serve to do nothing more than to frustrate you and leave you anxious and angry and envious and jealous, filled with self-hatred and angst and wondering when you're going to get your just desserts, when you're going to get what you're due, when life will stop trotting over you and leaving you broken and bereft. Always wondering, always hopeless, always searching, always seeking. Every time you get one answer, there's another question behind it. Every time you open one door, there's another door locked behind it. It never ends. It never ends. This reality is filled with nothing more than empty promises and grand delusions that we fall for. that we are constantly strapped and chained and bound to, such that we can never truly be happy. And we wonder, when will it end? When will we find our way? Because even if you've climbed to the top of that mountain, you have all in the world, all the houses, all the, all the accoutrements of the luxury lifestyle. You're no longer in debt. You're no longer wrecked by bills. You're no longer wandering hopelessly from aimless job to aimless job. Even then, it's never enough. It isn't, because your answers aren't found here. Although you think they will be, you will ultimately get to that place and that point where you find you're still asking, what's the meaning of it all? What's the answer? What are the secrets to the universe? What is your purpose in this life? When will you ever find meaning? These questions will constantly gnaw away at you, constantly vex you. And the more that you follow the false prophets and the so-called wise ones of this world, the holy men, the yogi, the magi, the rabbis, the priests, the more you follow the self-help gurus, all of them selling you a story, all of them with a blueprint, a set of instructions, a manual that's going to take you to the top of the mountain. And then I'm telling you, you get to the top of the mountain and then you find that you still need more, because you're never satisfied. It's never enough, because your ambition will never be enough. Whatever ambitions you have that you fulfill will never be enough to heal the hole in your heart. That's like the Grand Canyon. That chasm is endless. There's only one thing that will fill it. There's only one thing that will heal the scar that's on your soul. There's only one thing that will bring you true gratefulness, true thankfulness, and true joy, peace and solace. Yahuwah, Yahusha, the moment you receive him, all that pain and anxiousness and frustration is all washed away. It's all wiped away. It's all gone. And you will find yourself electrified, filled with the answers to all that you have ever sought, receiving more than you had ever hoped you could receive, such that your cup runneth over. You think you don't have enough. You think that you don't have your just desserts. You think you should have more. But the moment you're filled with the breath of Yahuwah, your cup will run over and over and over. You'll have so much of what you truly need: peace, solace, joy, healing, love, and everlasting life. You'll have more of that than you could ever even fathom, that I could ever even describe, such that you'll be out here before the sun comes up, because you're so inspired, so motivated, and have so much that you are just compelled to share it with the world, to shout from the rooftops, the Besorah, the good news, to absolutely just share and you'll be driven to live as an example for your people. Driven. And in doing so, you will spread his message of healing love, healing energy, and living water. And in doing so, you will help others realize that they, like you and like I, can find hope and help, guidance and direction, peace and solace, motivation, inspiration, strength and solutions, healing and love, purpose and salvation, and forgiveness and redemption through Yahuwah, Yahusha. You'll never hit that snooze button again. You'll never go to sleep again. You'll be ever vigilant, not out of fear. You'll be ever watchful. Not because you might be punished if you're not. No. You don't know the time of the hour of his coming, but he will not find you sleeping. He will not find me sleeping. And it's not because we're worried about not living the way, the truth, and the life. No, it's because We found the way, the truth, and the life. We found his love. We found his healing. And now we are awake because it is our greatest joy. It is our greatest triumph in this illusory plane to know him, to receive him, and to walk this narrow path to the kingdom to come. You'll never hit that snooze button again. You'll be ever awake. You'll never have to be concerned about being asleep when he returns. And you might think, oh, he might not return in your lifetime. Let me tell you something. You now have everlasting life. It will always be your lifetime. The moment he returns, you will be alive because you have received him and you have received everlasting life. And you'll be ever awake. You won't want to sleep. You won't want to sleep. You'll be too in love, too motivated, too inspired by the way, the truth, and the life to ever go to sleep again. That alarm clock means nothing anymore. You don't need it. You'll never need it again. So let us walk as awake as we've ever been. Motivated, inspired, encouraged, electrified, robust, and dynamic as we move relentlessly and ceaselessly, unstoppable, unconquerable, undefeatable, unassailable, as we speed like a juggernaut to kingdom come.